Hi, today I'm going to talk about a few things about what I bring with me when I go out on a wildlife photo shoot. The lens I normally bring with me, and this is the only lens I'll bring with me, is this one, which is the Sigma 150 to 500 HSM lens. I also have here on this one here the Canon 7D, and something that you should always have, I think, is a battery grip on the camera, because you can be sat there for hours trying to take different shots and your battery will run down fairly quickly, especially if you're on silent mode on the camera, which is basically live view on the 7D. Other things I bring with me are really important: the blower for your lens, because it will get dusty and dirty out there. You've got to have one of those. The lens pen, I don't know if you've ever used any of these, but the lens pen is a nice little idea. You have a brush on one end and you have basically what's called a little lens cleaner on the other side, and it's shaped so it'll fit nicely. When you actually press it against the lens, it fits nicely and gives you a nice kind of cleaning of your lens, I suppose. Another thing which I bring with me is a cable release. I've tried the different ones, I've tried the wireless ones, and they're just not that reliable. You can't guarantee when you press it you're going to get a picture, especially if you're in a panic or you've got suddenly a lot of wildlife in front of you and you're trying to get your camera set up and everything else ready. Cable release, definite, always got one of those. Some people will say they don't take tripods with them, but I always bring mine. Tripods are a great thing to have, especially if you're going to be sitting in a hide or you're going to be in one place for a long time, and definitely some kind of good high quality tripod. You don't want it moving around or shaking while you're out there. This one here that I have, this is the Manfrotto 055 X Pro B. Great tripod. The only thing I'd say though is it does get very cold. Because it's made of aluminium, it gets very cold and you can't keep your hands on it for very long. They do provide you with these rubber grips, but it's still, you find you're always end up holding the metal parts. So if you can afford it, go for the carbon fibre, but otherwise this is great. Just wear some gloves. Even on kind of normal weather you find that it gets very cold. I've got here a joystick head on, and it's fine for the Sigma 150 to 500, no problem at all with it. It's a great joystick head. Haven't really needed or haven't thought about, I wish I had something like a geared head or one of the three levered head. I'm not sure what they're called then, maybe you could post comments. But lovely tripod, always got to bring that with me. And one thing which seems to have some discussion about is whether or not to wear camouflage or not. I always bring and wear the camouflage Gore-Tex jackets. I picked this up in a army surplus store for like €50, which is a great value. And I keep my hats and some spare kind of cloths in there with it on that. But just a little bit about camouflage. Some people say that animals don't really notice whether you're wearing camouflage or not. I did some tests just recently where I started to go out in full camouflage, and I found a massive difference with getting close to birds, getting close to deer especially. I mean, at one point I was actually walked out of the wood into the field and the deer still couldn't see me because I was wearing full camouflage. And if I had done that wearing a pair of jeans or some dark clothes or anything like that, they would have seen me, because it's a blot. With the DPM, it diffuses your pattern, it diffuses everything about you. So if you're out there with wildlife photography, especially birds as well, I noticed that I was seeing more birds with this the camouflage on, because they weren't paying attention to me, because I was just, my pattern was broken up. They couldn't see the outline of me. They couldn't tell what I was. So I found that especially small animals, like small birds like wrens, they were actually coming closer to me, which was a surprise, because I thought maybe it's just a case of they wouldn't notice, or they wouldn't really look at kind of different patterns, but they do, and it's well worth getting some kind of camouflage gear if you're going out in the wild. Apart from that, that's pretty much it. Sometimes I'll use something like this, which is it's basically, you get them from camouflage surplus stores, but this is a little cover that I made up for my lens. You can buy the professional versions kind of from Lenscoat, but this one here, if you take your lens, you put the hood on correctly. I just got it where I can just slip this over. Like this. It's got it set nice and snug. Like this. And this just sits nicely over the lens. Great for kind of putting your hands. You can put your hand underneath here, keep your hands covered, because they will, that's the bit you're going to be moving all the time. It's a great, I find it works great. All you need is a few hair bobbles or hair bands to slip over the top, just to keep it in place and stop it from moving. But I find that that's great for, especially if you've got to poke this through, like say a fence, or you're looking to kind of get outside of the trees, because sometimes you do need to get past it and hold it out there. And that's where your tripod's going to come in handy, because a lot of people say you don't need a tripod because you can use the OS or the IS on your lens. I find that using a tripod gives you better results, and you do get better results on your pictures especially. One thing that I said before, whilst you're on a tripod, always make sure you turn that OS off. When it's on, it does kind of still makes a difference to your images. When it's off, it really will give you a nice, crisp, tack sharp image, especially when using something like the cable release. Apart from that, that's pretty much it. That's all I bring with me. Apart from a few little snacks, that's pretty much it. Hope you found this useful. If you've got any questions, leave a comment. Thanks for watching.